Hello everyone, and this is going to be a continuation from Eckhart Tolle's New Earth, Creating a Better Life, and the chapter Pain Body for Children. And we're going to continue this chapter as we left it halfway, as it is a big chapter. And before I begin with a recap and all that, I would like to announce that we began with the Philosopher's Stone book club, and it was a wonderful conversation, a beautiful book read on Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian L. Weiss. And we just began the chapter understanding the characters and how the beauty of this book club is that each character helps one explore the person, the participants within. And we had a beautiful conversation after that, a lot of questions after that. And I'm looking forward to many more for the next 3 months. And anybody of you still looking to join into this specific book, or you've read this book and had more questions, or you want to use this book and the content in the book for your growth, for your exploration, then do WhatsApp me, do let me know, and we will explore it together. And then now we begin with this wonderful chapter. And I would begin with a recap that in Pain Bodies of Children, we started with, how child sometimes behaves moody or traumatic or throws tantrum or sulks many times, and sometimes we have no idea why they're behaving in a certain way, and we're so busy dealing with our own problems on our own routine life that we don't know how to handle these unexpected emotions. And somewhere Eckhart Tolle beautifully explains how the child picks up on collective pain bodies. And this pain body is a topic that we have explored in previous of my videos. So if you want to know more about what the pain body means and collective pain body means, then do watch my other videos right below here. And from that, Eckhart Tolle takes us to understanding that child also picks up the pain of parents. And even if many times parents feel that I do not let my child know any of my problems, children still pick up on parents' issues, parents' suppressed problems. And somewhere Eckhart Tolle says that it doesn't require the child to be talked and know that you're fighting, as parents are fighting in front of them. Child is even prone to the pain bodies of suppressed pain bodies of their parents. And from that, somewhere now Eckhart Tolle is taking us to the idea that if your child is behaving in this typical manner, traumatic, tantrum, or in a sulking way out of a sudden, how you would handle if you had known that this is the collective pain body working within the child. It is not his specific emotion, he is acting from the collective pain body emotion. So how to handle that? And I'm going to read the last paragraph that I read in the last video yesterday, and then I'm going to continue about how to handle this thing even better. So here we begin. While the child is having a pain body attack, that means moody behavior, emotional behavior, out of a sudden sulking for no reason, screaming and throwing tantrums in public places, which really puts us in a weird condition. Here Eckhart Tolle says there isn't much you can do except to stay present so that you are not drawn into an emotional reaction. So the first thing he's asking the parents to do is that you stay stable, you stay present. And the present, how to stay present, was one of the beautiful chapters we did few days back. So you can also watch that chapter, how to stay present. And he says that you will not react to his emotions. the child's pain body would only feed on it. So if as a parent you begin to react to child's pain body and his emotional reaction, the child will act it out even more. Pain bodies can be extremely dramatic, they love drama. And then we also did one more chapter on entertainment media where we understood that how collective pain bodies love the violence and like to watch violence. So now child loves to be a little more dramatic when parents begin to react. If the pain body was triggered by thwarted wanting, don't give in now to its demands. Now, Eckhart Tolle says that if it was triggered by some demand that, I need this, and if you're not going to do this, then I will do this and that, then Eckhart Tolle says, then would not give in to the demands. Otherwise, the child will learn that the more unhappy I become, the more likely I am to get that what I want. Now, slowly we are adding and feeding into child's psychology, into his pain body, that if he becomes more unhappy, the parent will give in and he will get whatever he wants. Now, it's great, if as a parent we will be there to help him and, make him feel happy in certain situation when we are available. But then child also needs to prepare himself to places where he will not be given attention on that level when he is dealing with the world alone. And if that time, if he is not being given that kind of an attention while he is being unhappy, is where child is going to feel unsupported, and he will not know what to do with his unhappiness. So now he is giving us a recipe. This is a recipe for dysfunction in later life. So, as I said, the child begins to understand that this is, if I want something, then this is the recipe to create unhappiness environment, faces and emotion and tantrums around me, so that I get what I want. Now, pain body will be frustrated by your non-reaction, and many briefly act up even more before it subsides. So now the Eckhart Tolle is trying to say here is that it's possible that when you do not react to child's emotions or his frustration, he will be even more frustrated that why my drama is not being paid attention to. Now, this is another bigger trick, that the pain body is not child, okay, not child, it's the pain body of the child, and that is again connected to the collective pain body that is reacting in a way where if I'm not getting attention, then if they will create even more drama. So if in this moment as parents you give in, then we are doing the same thing again. Pain body episodes in children are usually more short-lived than in adults. So now it's even better when the children are treated well and healthily during these period when they are behaving from the pain bodies. Then their pain bodies and these episodes are short-lived. They will very quickly understand that, with unhappiness, I'm not going to get anything. And now from that point, now Eckhart Tolle is showing us how we are going to be dealing with child when he has behaved like this, to make him more aware of what just happened. We are not just leaving him to his emotions and his tantrums, because he doesn't know what he's doing or she is doing. But now how will we make them aware of what is going on, so that next time it happens, they can deal with it all by themselves without they needing anybody else. And that is called empowerment. And parents' role is not to just be there and pamper them and do things for the children. Parents' actual responsibility is to empower their children, and this is what it is. This is how it feels like, empowering your children, who can actually deal with life situations even much more, with more strength and with much more stability as they grow, as they become adults. So let's read further. A little while after the child's pain body and the reaction and emotions have subsided, or perhaps the next day, you can talk to the child about what happened. But don't tell the child about the pain body. Ask questions instead. For example, what was it that came over you yesterday when you wouldn't stop screaming? Do you remember what did it feel like, or what was it a good feeling, whatever that you were doing? That thing that came over you, does it have a name? Can you name it? No, okay, that's all right if you can name it. If it had a name, what would you call it? These are some beautiful questions that he is asking. And this question the parent can only ask if the parent is aware of what each of their action to child's behavior plays a role in child's life. And if the parent plays this as an aware parent, as a conscious parent, and we did a chapter on conscious parenting, so you can also refer to that if you like it. That is where this difference can be made into children's psychology, into their mind, and into their emotional body. But most importantly, they will not tap into collective pain body, and they will learn not to create their own pain bodies, which kind of creates a lot of complexities as adults. If you could see it, what would it look like? You can even ask this question. Can you paint a picture of what it would look like? Asking child to explore all that he felt while he was going through the tantrum or that emotional episode. And with this, what are we trying to do with the child is that we are making him aware of his own or her own emotions. Wherein, if we look at our old programming, the programming of our typical societal mindset, somewhere we learn to suppress our emotion and never show it to people, because then you will be vulnerable to society, to people, and people will take advantage of you. But here it is not about child expressing his emotion to somebody else. It is about he becoming aware of his own emotion. And if the person knows how to handle his or her emotion, does that person require anybody else to support on the emotional level? So that is a kind of a strength that we can create in our child, in our children, if we as a parent are conscious. It's not very easy. The two things only, if as parents we take care of, is that we know how to deal with our own pain bodies, and we know that we do not want our children to tap into our own in their pain bodies and our pain bodies, or in the collective pain bodies. So that is what it is, and it doesn't take much time, and it is way easier. It is way easier than having to resolve their emotional drama and issues. And as they grow, all the teenage issues, and all the friend related issues, and and then end with all of that, literally worrying about what will happen to them, because today the world is like this, and company is not good. The child will have more stable understanding and perspective to life if we have been able to help them see their own emotions in a stable way, and they will know how to handle their own emotions in stable way in so many life situations. So that is the beauty of what we are just reading. And I'm going further. These are just a few suggested questions, Eckhart Tolle says. All these questions are designed to awaken the witnessing faculty in child, which is presence. We read presence chapter. And they will help the child to disidentify from the pain body. You may also want to talk to the child about your own pain body using the child's terminology. So somewhere you can also give example to how you handle your pain body with more balanced state of being, or how somewhere you have been wrong, acting out in certain way, and how you are now changing that. Now, as parents, we does not require to always be acting as a very perfect parent, and after some time the child begins to know that, I thought that my parents are perfect, but now I feel as they begin to get teenagers, they'll be like, no, I think I know more than my parents. So we don't have to act as a perfect parents, but we can always show them that, as a parent, as a person, as an individual, I'm always growing. So I can, sometimes go here and there, but I am aware that if I'm going here and there, if I'm making mistakes, I know that how I'm going to put myself back to a state of balanced being, and I'm learning to handle my emotions. So would you like to learn with it? And this is where we are creating a child's mindset as more of a learner's mindset, and that is way more easier than having stubborn mindset. And that's where the stubborn child comes from, a stubborn parent, comes from. Now, the Eckhart Tolle is also saying that you can also ask child that it's next time when he behaves with the pain body, you can say, it has come back, hasn't it? Now use whatever words the child used when you talked about it, and direct the child's attention to what it feels like, and let your attitude be one of interest or curiosity rather than the one of criticism and condemnation. Now, this is such a beautiful underlining statement, or a sentence, or a words of wisdom that Eckhart Tolle has given to us. I'm going to reread this, that your attitude as a parent could be of the one of interest or curiosity rather than one of criticism and condemnation. The child fears criticism and condemnation. Even we fear criticism and condemnation and judgment. But when you're taking interest in what is going on with child, you're being curious of what is going on in child's life and his emotion. Not only that you're exploring, not only your parenting becomes more happier and judgment free, also child feels safer to talk with you in a more happier way. They will not feel uncomfortable ever speaking to parent. And that's where when these kind of conversations are not taking place between the child and the parent, and I think that's the kind of generation gap that we have seen with our parents and they have seen with their parents, this bridge can be built with conscious parenting, that we only begin to take interest. And this is exactly what child wants, that my parents to take interest, not focus on me and torture me with their attention, but and being being what I do as profession, changing people's life, helping them transform. I come across a lot of parents and a lot of teenagers and a lot of children, they sometimes do have these complaints to make, that my mother is too much focused on me, and I just can't breathe, I need to breathe. They constantly taking out mistakes from what I do and how I do things. Now the child wants that my parents to take interest in me. That's where they feel actually loved, not attachment. Attachment is where we just try to correct them and stuff. Now let's read further. It is unlikely that this will stop the pain body in its tracks, and it may appear that the child will not even be hearing you. Yet some awareness will remain in the background of the child's consciousness even while the pain body is active. And after a few times, the awareness will have grown stronger and the pain body will have weakened. Now, somewhere we may feel that, while we are having this conversation, possibly child may begin to feel not even hear or may just reject what we are saying. But Eckhart Tolle is saying that, keep planting the seeds of awareness and keep showing your child that you are interested and curious about, why the child is behaving in a certain way, and making him or her aware of what is going on in the inner world, then, condemning him or condemning her. And even if you don't get an immediate result, somewhere slowly and gradually, with couple of experiences of feeding with the awareness and asking questions, this awareness will grow. The child's pain body will begin to feel less active, and there will be a association from the pain body. And after some time, the child will grow into the presence. The child will remain present the moment those emotions will come up. And one day, you may find that the child is the one to point out to you that your own pain body has taken control of you. Oh, so that is possible that when you start behaving from your pain body, sometimes your child is more aware than you are. So if you've planted right seeds, the child may come and tell you, Mama, you or Papa, you have been acting for from that pain body, and what is it that you're feeling right now, and wouldn't we like to get um, that interest of our child in how we are dealing with our pain body, and that kind of a conversation that is sweet and that is nurturing. Parenting is not just one way nurturing. This is just clicked to me. It's about two way. It's like you're giving the nurturing to the child, and the child also nurtures you back, in whichever age. And when they're smaller, in fact they're nurturing us, because somewhere I heard somebody saying that the mother is as old as the child's age. Before that, she was a woman, or she was a girl. But then as she becomes a mother, if child is 1 year old, the mother becomes 1 year old. So we are enough experience as the child's experience in the world. So we both are nurturing each other. That is how it works. And somewhere we begin to take that role play, and that is also one of the chapters that we have read in the previous of the videos. So if you like, you can refer to the links and then come back to this video and hear the entire conversation. It will make a lot of sense to you. But again, I would like to highlight that parenting is a two-way nurturing. The child nurtures you back, and they love to do that, and you nurture them. Both of you have something that fulfills each other. So that's a beauty of relationship. It doesn't have to be a generation gap. We have made the generation gap so significant, and I wish that we can change it. So with that, I will see you shortly with a new chapter. It's a very interesting chapter, and it says who you think you are. So what this chapter holds, we'll know soon, and see you very soon. Bye bye. Take care.